Yes, ma'am.
We're going to convert metric measures today. So I came up with my own little chart that has the prefixes that are used in metric measurements. Now, the metric measurements could be grams. That's like measuring out our teaspoons or whatever. Meters, which is like our measuring our inches, and yardsticks and that kind of stuff. I said kilometer. Oh, I put that in the wrong place. Oh dear. This is wrong. Okay.
All right.
The meter is like a yardstick. This is like a mile. So change that when you get it. Think of a mile. Okay. It's sort of the same thing. Meters are like our yardstick. Liters are like liquid measure, and so on and so on. Okay. But if you will try to memorize these prefixes in order, either tiny to big or big to tiny, some of the ways that you can memorize it is, I saw this online, King Henry died drinking chocolate milk. So the first letter stands for kilo and hecto, deca, and so on, okay? You'll get this in your email after the lesson. Now, the way that I use this is if I'm going from kilograms to grams, I count how many spaces I went, not counting where I start. So I start at kilograms and go 1, 2, and end here at 3. Okay, so I'm going to move my decimal 3 places because I went 1, 2, 3 to get to where I wanted to be. Now over here, that's what I use for this. As I go down, and I went from kilo down to grams, as I move down, I move my decimal to the right. 3 places because I went 3 spaces. So I gave you some examples here. This one would be that example, only it's with meters. And we'll do some more examples on the board, but I wanted to tell you how this works. So my question was, I have 7.59 kilometers, and I want to change that to meters. Now pretend you don't know the answer yet, but I want to change it to meters. So I start at kilo and go to meters, okay? And so these are the prefixes that go with any of these. So I start at kilo and go 1, 2, 3. I went 3 places and I moved down the chart. So if I move down the chart, I'm going to move my decimal to the right. So this is what we did. We took the decimal that was between the 7 and the 5 and moved it 1, 2, and I had to move it a 3rd place and fill that with a 0. Do you see that? Are you okay with this, Lorenzo?
Yes, ma'am. That starts making sense.
Okay.
I was wondering how you got that.
You've got it?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay. And here, if I wanted to move from centimeters to kilometers, then I'm going to start at centa right here and move all the way up to kilometers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know my decimal is going to move 5 places. Now, which way? I moved up on the chart, so my decimal is going to be moved to the left. If you notice right here, the decimal was here, and I'm going to move 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I had to go 1 more and put a 0 in that blank spot. Do y'all see how I came out with the answer?
Yeah, I see.
You okay, Lorenzo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see stuff.
So that's what we're going to be doing today. I put that on the board so we can try some of the problems that are on your worksheet. Now, the second page that I put in this worksheet is a different metric conversion if this works better for you.
Okay.
So there are two types of charts here that will help you. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Well, let's go over here. Number 4 on the first page, or page 3. It says 4,300 centimeters equals how many meters? So I start at centimeters right here, and I want to go to meters, which will be right here. I don't count where I start, but I do count where I end. So 1, 2 places, and I moved up on the chart. Remember the 2, and I moved up on the chart, so that means I moved the decimal to the left. If there's not a decimal showing, it's invisible at the end of the number. And so we're going to move 1, 2 decimals to the left. So my answer is 43 meters. 43 meters. Okay. Do you guys understand what's going on? Are you okay, Lorenzo?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay. I guess, there we go. Now at the bottom of this page 3, it wants you to use the less than, the greater than, or the equals. So let's look at number 1, and at the bottom of this same page, it says 25 meters. And then it has a box. It wants you to put less than, greater than, or equals in this box. And 2599 centimeters. Now, there's no way that you can compare this until the units are the same type of units. And it does not matter which way you go. You can change centimeters to meters, or you can change your meters to centimeters. I don't care, but they have to match. So let's leave meters and let's change centimeters to meters. Okay, that way we'll have something we can actually compare. So I've got 2,599 centimeters and I want to go to meters. So I go here again. Centimeters looks like the same thing. Centimeters, I'm going to go to meters, which is 1, 2, up the scale. Up the scale means I'm going to move to the left. Okay, and so I have, here's my existing decimal, and I'm going to move 2 places to the left. So now I have 25.99 meters. Now I have meters to meters, and I can compare which one of these is bigger or smaller, or are they equal to each other? They're awfully close, but if this is just 25, that means it's 25.00 because there's nothing out here. So which one's bigger? 25.99. Okay, and so this is the less one. This means less than. So 25 meters is less than 25.99 meters. But the key here in that part is that you need to change the units so that they match each other. Any questions there?
No, ma'am.
Doing okay? Let's move on. You're going to do exactly the same thing. The next page 4 just goes centimeters to meters, meters to centimeters. Those are the only two it even uses. On page 4, page 5 will use centimeters to millimeters and back and forth and back and forth. You'll be doing the same thing. I want you to get used to these. Page 6, these should go relatively quickly. And then page 7 does the same thing, but now they're grams, which means the same thing. It's still going to be grams to kilograms. So that should be easy to do. On page 8, I gave you the formulas here. Okay, so let's do these. This is page 8, and it goes from metric ton to kilograms and back and forth. All right. So let's see how this works. Since we don't have metric ton on here, what we're going to do is use the formula. This one says a kilogram equals the metric ton times 1,000. The other one says metric ton equals the kilogram, however many kilograms there are, divided by 1,000. Okay, so let's look at number 1. These are our two formulas. So number 1 says 10,000 kilograms equals how many metric tons? Okay, and so what you're going to do is use this one because we're trying to find tons. So you're going to use the formula that says tons. So it says tons equals the kilograms, and this is what we have, 10,000 over 1,000. This is very, very easy to do because when you're trying to simplify this fraction, this means you divided by 10. This means you divided by 10 again, and you divided by 10 again. So what you're left with is 10 over 1, which is 10 metric tons. We'll use those formulas. We'll use the other one here in just a second. Just making sure, yes. Any questions on that? I put these formulas at the top of that worksheet. Okay, you won't have that. All the writing that I did on these worksheets won't come to you guys remotely. So be sure and write these down that I wrote on the board, okay, for metric tons. Let's go the other way. Number 2 says 16 metric tons equals how many kilograms? So we want to know kilograms, so we're going to use this formula. We want to know kilograms. So I say kilograms equals how many metric tons do I have? I have 16 metric tons. times 1,000. And so the number of kilograms that are equal to this many metric tons is 16,000. So it looks to me like metric tons are the bigger. It's a lot bigger than kilograms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next page 9 is still using the same chart, but then it's using liters instead of meters or grams. You do it the exact same way. You'll get a lot of good practice here. And page 10. Okay, 1 through 10 is all I want you to do today, is use this chart over and over and over and over and over again so you get used to metric conversion. What do you think? Think
Yeah, I
you
feel
can
like, yeah, I feel like I
do
get
it,
that.
Lorenzo?
Yeah.
I am so, so happy and thankful to God that you found your sister.
Yeah. I'm gonna be an uncle.
Yeah.